Hello, my name is Swift and welcome to my collection channel. And today I'm here to showcase one of my favorite characters in Fate. If you do know about Fate, or if you do know about me from my other channel, you may know who this character is, but obviously if you can tell by the title already, I'm here to show you guys and unbox the best Mordred figure, I think, in my opinion, to date. Well, scale figure, I don't know about resin statues, but this is definitely the best scale figure in my opinion. So I pre-ordered this figure from Ami at around 20,850 yen, I believe. And the shipping for me through EMS was around 6,000-ish yen. So in total it was like 27,000 something, which I believe is a reasonable price for this figure, honestly. Especially because, you know, prices for figures have inflated over the last year or so. So for a figure of this size and this level of detail from Good Smart Company, I think it's definitely a good deal. And if you are a big Mordred fan or just a fan of Fate in general, then this is definitely one of the figures that you would need in your collection, in my personal opinion. Coming from someone who has Mordred as their favorite character in Fate, this is really the one. I remember seeing this figure showcase for the first time and it wasn't even painted yet, but when I saw the pose and when I saw that she was in her armor and then I saw the base was a really dynamic one that I usually like, and you know, had the rubble and everything, and she had the two swords that she can use. But when I saw all of that, I was like, I need to get this figure. Whenever it comes out, I'm pre-ordering it and I need to get it immediately because this is the one. This is the figure for Mordred I was looking for. I did remember she had another one that was similar to this one, but I believe this one has a better pose, the way she's leaning over and slashing, kind of like the Saber one actually. I think Saber has a one where she's leaning on the opposite side, so they kind of copied it for Mordred, and I think that was a really good choice to go by that one because the other one is kind of her leaning and she's holding the sword ready to swing or something like that, but I think this one is definitely the better one. Now, starting off with the box, it's really nicely designed. It actually has some of the accents on either side of sort of the window in the box. It has Mordred's sword design on either side, which I thought was a nice touch. And I didn't think the box would be like this nicely deep colored red. And it had these gold accents on all the lettering on the box, which is really, really, really nice. And I really appreciate the level of detail they really go into with some of these boxes as well. Another thing I like about the box is actually the size of it. If you've seen my other video on my channel, I unboxed the 1/7 of the Okita Ota, and even though she was a 1/7 as well, the box was about more than twice the size of this one, which I don't really understand, because where are we supposed to put all these boxes when we buy these figures? I mean, do they expect us to throw them away or something? I don't know, but I really appreciate companies making smaller boxes for their figures. Unfortunately, I have another figure on the way that I think might be a massive box, but we'll have to see. But yeah, when that comes, I'll show you guys. But as of now, this box is really nice and it's a nice size for the figure and it's really compact. As for the figure itself, I really like how this figure came out. The paint job is immaculate. I really like how they colored her hair. I think on the Kotobukiya one I have, her hair is kind of orangey, whereas this one is, you can definitely tell that it's a blonde, but then, you know, on the ends of the hair they have nice shading on there, as well as her facial expression, and she has that little tooth coming out, which I thought was a nice touch. And as for the armor, it looks really metallic. I really like the way they've shaded it, and on all the clothing pieces, on sort of the red parts of her clothes, it has a nice deep red to it that has a nice gradient from the lighter red to the darker red, and all the gold accents around her are superb. And one thing I also really love is the base. Like, I think I mentioned this in my previous video about bases. I'm not too much of a fan of this just a plain black base. I really like figures that have something dynamic going on, and this one, I mean, I can hold it in my hand, but I'm going to do some close-ups anyway, so you'll be able to see. But I just really like how there's just rubble here, and it's like the Kotobukiya one, but this one's just even better because they've just gone into detail with every single piece of the ground there, and they've obviously got the Fate Grand Order logo on the side there, the same as the other Good Smart Company figure I have, which is of Saber, which is her on her motorbike, which is the 1/8 one. I really need the Saber Ultra one version of that one, but that's another figure for another day. But yeah, I like how they have the logo figure and all on there, and I just really like how it all came together. It's a really sort of visceral kind of figure where it looks like a frame from one of her action scenes, and that's exactly what I was going for when I was looking for a figure for her. And that's what I go for in general when I want for my figures. I'm not too much of a fan of figures that sort of stand there and don't do anything. I mean, I like how they can come out. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the artwork in there, and I'm probably gonna get some of them anyway in the future. But I really do like when the figure is in the middle of doing something, so it looks like just a still moment, which is really cool. And you'll definitely get that when you go for this figure. So when it came to putting the figure together, it wasn't that hard, but there are some parts that are kind of fiddly to get around. Like on her back here, I'll show some close-ups again. She has these two hooks on her back and these things that come off the back of her armor for when her helmet sort of flips back. If you've ever seen the animation, her helmet kind of retracts back into her back and then it comes out whenever she needs it to. But obviously on the figure, they have the helmet down. And you sort of need to, they come separately and you need to put them in the peg holes there. It's a little bit fiddly trying to get them in there, but once you get them in there, they're very secure and tight. And the head actually comes off very easily. It's not one of those ones that have too many things in the way, so it feels like you're gonna break everything when you're trying to take the head off. For this one, you can just wiggle the head. From my experience anyway, I just wiggled the head and popped it straight off. And then as for the sword, the hilt detaches from the rest of the sword. Not the whole hilt, just the end part of the hilt, just to go through her hand, and then you can reattach it at the end. And her right wrist is movable, so you can actually adjust it to be able to make room to put the sword through. So there's no issues with assembly from what I experienced. It was just a little bit fiddly trying to get those back pieces on, but after that, it's completely fine. And the peg holes in the base itself are very big and easy to get through. And once they're in there, they're in there. Like it's stuck in. It doesn't look like it's going to move anyway. And I know that's a fear for some figures when they're sort of leaning or doing like a jumping pose. People were kind of worried that the figures might start leaning, but this one, both feet actually peg in. One pegs in right, let me just show you again actually. One pegs in right into the bottom of the base here, and the other one is just on the back of one of these rocks. So it's never going to be an issue where she's going to start leaning. From what I can see, Good Smile did a very good job. Did I mention it was from Good Smile? I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, Good Smile Company. I heard some people were saying that, you know, with some figures that they've released recently that they have missed on some of them, but so far, 2 Good Smile figures on my channel so far, and they've gone 2 for 2. These figures are really good. Maybe it's just because they paid so much attention to Fate, but I do know that the one Fate figure, I think the one with Saber, where she's shopping in like a casual outfit, I haven't heard too many great things about that one, but as for these ones, they've done a really good job. So I really appreciate that from them. And also, if you guys haven't noticed from the last video, I went from a different angle and decided to talk into the camera this way. I thought this would be a better way for me to showcase a figure, because I feel more in my element when I'm just sitting in front of the camera talking into a mic, because that's what I do on my main channel anyway. So tell me what you guys think. And I also got some feedback that people wanted to see more of the figure itself through some more shots of the camera, some more B-roll. So I'm gonna definitely do that so you guys can see every little detail about this figure, because I really want you guys to see how nicely done this figure actually is. So if you are on the fence, definitely get to it. And that brings me to my conclusion. In conclusion, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is, in my opinion, the best Mordred scale figure that you could probably find on the market. I know there is one from Aquamarine in her casual outfit that I think I would like the look of. Honestly, I like the look of that one, but I think I prefer the armor look for Mordred, and this one is definitely the best one out of the ones I've seen, and better than the Kotobukiya one I also have up here. So if you're on the fence, definitely go through with it. I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially if you're a fan of Fate and you're a fan of Mordred. And if you're not a fan of any of the series, or you don't even know the character, I think even this will still be a nice figure for you to have on your shelf if you're just in for, like, you know, some action looking figures. Not action figures, but, you know, figures in action poses. I think if you have a sort of collection of them, this one would fit right in with the rest of them. And especially if you have some other figures that have sort of diorama-like bases like this one, this is a nice addition to your list. It makes me sad though, because thinking about the Okita Ota one and how they gave it a plain black base, but they gave this one. They could have just done the same with that other figure, but I don't know why they didn't do that. But anyway, tell me guys, tell me in the comment section below actually what you think about this figure. If you got it, or if you're thinking about getting it, or if you didn't want to get it for whatever reason, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. There is another figure video coming soon. 2 actually, because there is one that is now on the way, other than the other one that was on the way, but it's almost here. we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, more videos on the way. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please hit the like button if you liked the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.